Welcome to week 2 at the Fall Turf Festival here at Gulfstream Park West. Ron Nicoletti along with Pete Aiello, our track announcer. We got a blustery, beautiful day in South Florida. The temperatures have finally broke. It's about, I'd say high 70s, maybe just about 80 degrees. Fast main track, firm turf course. And the big news today, Pete, we got a $50,000 jackpot guarantee in our Rainbow Six. It's back. The jackpot guarantee starts in race number 5 to race number 10, and it's only a 20-cent wager. Good afternoon. A couple of days off, we're back at it again.
Absolutely. Another 4 or 5 day racing week. We are racing on Monday, this coming Monday here at Gulfstream Park West. As you touched on, a Rainbow Six carryover. It's been tough because there's always been that one horse in the sequence that nobody can have, and we'll see if that's the case here this afternoon. I think we'll lure in some new money, though, with the guarantee of $50,000 in the Rainbow Six.
Yeah, so we're going to get started here with our first race, and 5 furlongs on the turf. These are maiden claims, 3 and up, $12,500. Want to go back and show you a race on back on July 10th, and it's the number 3 horse that day, but it's Stash the Cat, who's the 7 today. And Stash the Cat, makes a pretty nice move in here. He looks like he's going to run, and then he sort of flattens out and finishes fourth in that race. He's beaten about 3 lengths or so.
Well, he was favored that day, and Little Boss was a well-met winner from the Carlo Vaccarezza barn. He was taking a drop in class. I actually quite think that race that he's coming out of was really okay. He was 4th as the favorite, and Little Boss was much better than any of the stock that he faces here this afternoon. He was 6th 2 starts ago against Delta Bluesman. He's came back to be a solid allowance campaigner. So the company lines are there, the form lines are there. The only concern with Stash the Cat is, can he lay close enough to the pace to be effective? Frankly speaking, against this group, I think so.
Well, there's a horse up there. We both have Stash the Cat on the top of our ticket. Horse that's currently 1-9, but it's way early, 50 minutes to post. Looks like it's the only horse bet right now because everybody else is 99-1. Is the 6 Antares. This one's turning back to 5 furlongs. He tracked the pace last time. He flattened out. He finished 4th, beaten about 10 lengths in that race, and that was at this level, going a mile into 16th. The trainer is Antonio Sano. The jockey is Jesus Rios, who we like as a rider. I like not as much as Pete likes, but he's a very good rider. But I like Stash the Cat better than the 6 Antares.
I don't like Antares much at all. He makes my ticket out of sheer respect for the 3rd position with the scratch of number 8, Montemira. Antares is a horse that we talked about it on Monday, and I get to go toot because I was right about a race on Monday with horses that have had decent looking form, when in actuality the form is what I like to call phony form, where they're running 2nd and 3rd against far inferior stock. I think that's the case with Antares, 2 and 3 back. He was in 5/8 on the main track. Now, you can argue that he's a better horse on the turf. I don't know that you can prove that, but you definitely can argue it. He raced against Monster Brook, who was a horse that didn't bring much form to the table when he won. Ararat, the horse that was 2nd to Monster Brook that day, he has no form to speak of. 3 starts ago, he lost to Quick Hall. He was okay, but his form wasn't flattering, and Vitrol was 2nd, beating Antares, and Vitrol wouldn't be a horse in here that would be in the top 3 on our pick. So I think Antares might be a little bit phony. At least if he is a short number, he will get no part of my action. A horse that will get part of my action is number 1, Royal Signature. Now, his form is awful, but it's awful against much better stock. He took money last time out against Secretariat's Glory, who was dropping in from the maiden special weight ranks. Now, Secretariat's Glory ran against a horse named Back to Seattle for Bill White, who is a very well-regarded allowance horse. Broke his maiden in 10 and change at Gulfstream when he did break his maiden. And 2 starts ago, he was in against Tis for Tat, who was a nice horse from the Ralph Nix barn. Grand Coney came back to win. 5 Years came back to win. He was drubbed against those horses. I get it. He ran very bad. But his last race at Gulfstream Park West, yes, I realized it was on the main track going 2 turns, but he was 2nd behind Shiva Curlin, and he was also 2nd behind Tapacero, who not only was a repeat winner, he's tackled stakes horses in his next. The point I'm trying to convey here is Royal Signature has never seen horses as easy as he'll see him here this afternoon.
Well, we're going to go to our second. I also threw the 4. Come on, Charlie, on my ticket. I think this horse turning back was a useful return here. I thought on the turf, going back to the shorter distance today might be somewhere on your ticket. As you can see, we're battling a beautiful breezy day here today. Trying to see the wind is a crosswind, so I don't know how much it'll affect the track, whether it'll help speed or closes, because it is, as I say, a crosswind. Second race, 6 furlongs. Fillies and mares, 3 and up. Non-winners of 2 races in life, $25,000. And Pete, we both went with the number 5, My Cousin Faye, and we don't fare that well when we pick alike.
Well, I hope we do fare well when we pick alike in this case, because I'll be playing my cousin Faye as the anchor of my early daily double. My punch is 1-7 with the 5 in the early double. My cousin Faye looks too good for these horses. Now, granted, she's looked too good the last 2 times. She was favored in each of her last occasions, and she ran second both times. She lost to Pure Crazy Luck 2 starts ago. That's okay with me, because that horse was a Gustavo Delgado trainee who came back to be heavily favored next time out. Last time out, she lost against Subtle Humor. Honestly and truly, that's okay with me too, because Subtle Humor has improved since her career debut. She ran here the other day against far tougher horses. Didn't do very well, but they thought enough of her to rise her off the claim that day. My cousin Faye for Peter Walder, I figure she trips out beautifully here. The 6 KB Biorhythms, who's my second play and your third play, she'll be fresh off the shelf as the daughter of Wildcat Air. I'm hoping John Delgado can just lap right onto KB Biorhythms and pass at the 5/16, and then that'll be that.
Well, I also used the number 1, the Spirit went in, is stepping up to, versus these 2 lifetime runners after really cruising away in the slop to defeat $12,500 maidens. Won that race by almost 6 lengths. Jane Sabelli is about 18% with horses winning consecutive races. Hard to, I know you don't like to pick horses breaking their maiden, going up to their next condition. I just thought this horse and the connections forced me to put it on the ticket. All the reasons you mentioned, the 6 KB Biorhythms. Just a note on that, trainer Antonio Sano, he's 30% with new claims, so this is the first time for him today.
She also appears to be a horse that can run well fresh. She's never had a break of quite this long, but she's been freshened up and run well. The Spirit Within runs with a big get-out cup, as I would call it. I don't know what the official horseman terminology for it is, but there's a big blinker on the side of the Spirit Within that indicates to me that she may have some issues lugging out, so I picked against her in today's second race.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Is this our first 1 1/8 turf race of the meeting?
Yes, it is. It is. It's the third race, and it's a heck of a field assembled here. I think there's a big gap between the haves and the have-nots, at least for me. And yep, your top 3 and my top 3 are the same.
Just
the top
boxed
2,
around.
I think, are the haves here. They're horses that have been racing against far, far better stock. And we're talking about the one Ocean 7, who was second in his only race at Gulfstream Park West. He lost that day to your top play. Here's a toss for you. Tom Kitten on top for you.
Yeah, well, Tom Kitten, look at this. We've been mentioning this throughout last week that horses that have run well here at Gulfstream Park West, either on the turf or on the main track, and previous meetings here have run very well. And if you look at Tom Kitten, this won 8 previous races here, 4 wins, a second and a third, is back after looking for racing room in the final 16th of a mile. Had a little trouble in that race. That was against $40,000 state bred optional claimers up at Saratoga, August 20th. Marcus Vitale, he's got the 7-pound apprentice in there today. And I just think this horse, with the fact that it loves the local surroundings, is going to run very well. The one Ocean 7, for all the reasons you mentioned, facing stakes caliber competition up at Remington Park. It was hard for me to gauge what the class level is there.
Yeah, I think so. But again, I thought that was really true of this race. It was hard to gauge the class level, but stakes horses are stakes horses, and you can get a gauge of the number 1 Ocean 7 South Florida fit because he was second at Gulfstream Park West way back last December. Then tried the big boys in the McKnight, ended up 5th that day, beat 3 home. He seems like a horse that is definitely at the mercy of the early speed, and I didn't know that there was a whole lot of it, but the class angle here for Ocean 7 landed me on top. But the real reason I landed with Ocean 7 on top instead of Tom Kitten, because I think they're the only 2 in the third race, and I'll ask you the question, who has been the hottest connection as a jockey-trainer combo in the last 2 weeks at Gulfstream and Gulfstream West?
Marcus Vitale and Orlando Boca Chica.
Ding, ding, ding. Why is Boca Chica not riding Tom Kitten? He looks like a tie-me-on ride here. Why do they go to the Bug Boy? Listen, I'm not talking bad about the Bug Boy. I'm quite a fan of his. But what's the motivation here behind the go-to rider saying, yeah, I'll pass on the race, especially on a horse that's a 4-time course winner? I don't get it. I don't know if there's anything to get, but for me, I'm going to pick against on top just because of that.
Well, Tom Kitten getting in light today, so we'll go that way. And then we both have the 7 on our ticket, stepping up to the $16,000 level, stretching out to this 9-furlong distance we were talking about. Set a pressured pace last time out, finished second, but that was against $10,000 claimers going a mile and a 16th. I just think this horse can be part of the pace scenario here. Gets lucky, can maybe steal this thing on the front end, but certainly be somewhere on the ticket.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. If you're going to back the 7 Arctic and Breeze, you're going to do it on the steal it angle. I think he is going to make a fairly easy lead. Not sure you can carry him a mile and an eighth, though, but Arctic and Breeze, he's been a very, very different horse his last couple races. He was a game winner from off the speed, which is not something, if you look at his form, you'd ever dream could happen. And then he was really dead game last time out against the David Fox trainee Fire Mission. So he's definitely turned the corner, and he's on the right end of the form cycle.
Also want to note the number 6 Dynamic Boy and the main track onlys 9, 10, 11 have been scratched out of that fourth race this afternoon. With that said, we're going to continue to run on the turf at 7.5 furlongs this time out. It's allowance optional claimer. Fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up. The claiming level is $25,000. Scratch the 2 Pink Poppy, scratch the 7 Magical Steps. You went with the 8 Sawyer on top of your ticket, and I went with a horse that just broke his maiden, and that is Cleveland. And I lost a horse I really liked in here, and that was Dynamic Boy. But Cleveland is facing winners today after rallying late to break his maiden, going a mile in the turf. That's the thing I'm concerned about, is this little shorter distance, too short for this horse. But trainer Marty Wolfson, you know all the statistics he has. He's 31% with the 31 to 60-day layoff. This one, as I mentioned, turning back to 7.5 furlongs, a little bit of concern. Thought I'd take a chance and try and beat number 8 in here, Sawyer.
Well, there's 6 horses in this race, and between the two of us, we've backed 5 of them in some form. So anybody watching the telecast here this afternoon, bet the 6 in race 4. You're sure to cash on some form. I went with Sawyer. I think she's going to be very tough for Jane Sibeli and Orlando Boca Chica. Her race last time out was against Derek's Girl. Derek's Girl was a stakes-tested horse for Marty Wolfson. Came in off of a long layoff and performed very, very well that day. Beat Magical Steps, who was a horse that was definitely the horse to beat in here, as you touched on.
Yeah.
And I think Sawyer trips out here pretty well. I think that Vital Victory is going to get loose on top, and I wish I had Vital Victory in my top 3. Vital Victory will be duking it out with the aforementioned Spectacular Me. Sawyer should sit just off them from third, get the first run on these horses, and I think that she definitely is the horse to beat if she runs back to her last race.
Well, you know number 3 horse in here, as we mentioned, my Vital Victory you're talking about, will race for the $25,000 tag after finishing third, beating the neck. That was against $16,000 last out. Second, beaten a length and a quarter against $25,000 optional claimers on August 28th, but 0 for 3 on the Gulfstream Park turf. Do we take any stock in that, or we just think this horse fits well here?
I don't know. I actually should have done my homework a little more and looked up what she was in against when she ran at Gulfstream Park West the last time. I know one thing. She's been running very, very well. She's a game mare. She's 29 for 56 in the top 3. She knows exactly what her job is, and she does it very, very well for trainer Gary Jackson. She would be on my early pick 4 and multi-leg wagers, as would the 1 Daisy A Day. Daisy A Day erupted last time out. Now, she was off the layoff for trainer Ralph Nix. It was the first start for Ralph Nix, and boy, did he have her figured out. She came from absolutely nowhere to run down the favorite 1 Look that day. Takes it around 2 turns this afternoon. Her 2-turn races, not really that confident in them. However, she's never run 2 turns on the turf for Ralph Nix. That definitely is a key angle in this race.
Well, let's go to our 5th race of the afternoon, and this, as we mentioned, kicks off the Rainbow Six today with that $50,000 jackpot guarantee. It's a 1-mile event, claimers 3 and up, non-winners of a race since April 16th. Scratch the number 5, Revelationist. I went with the 3, and that is Cactus Kid, a horse that really likes it here on the Gulfstream Park West main track. 9 starts, 2 wins, a 2nd and 2/3, including victory at this distance back on June 28th. That was against $16,000, 3 lifetime claimers. Going to try 2 turns again today versus similar after going that 1-turn mile across town at Gulfstream Park. Like this horse, proven commodity at this distance right here, and likes the main track.
It's the Nicoletti angle. It's the 1-turn mile at Gulfstream Park East versus the 2-turn mile at Gulfstream Park West here this afternoon. I'm going to go with a horse that also takes it around 2 turns for the first time in a couple of months. The 4 all keyed up. This horse ran very, very well last time out. Was very, very wide that day. Kept in the clear. Looked like he was going to pick up some ground and pick up some tiring horses. Did that. Actually got beat a little bit farther than I thought he was going to, turning for home. He was rallying very, very well. Lost all kinds of ground. Was out in the parking lot turning for home. He takes a drop in class. Nobody in here except for all keyed up takes a drop in class. Second start off the claim for trainer Tammy Levy. Goes to Sandre Ridley, not the Barnes go-to rider. Sandre rode this horse last time. Gets the ride back here this afternoon. This is definitely the easiest that all keyed up has ever faced in his career, and I'm banking on it being a good one. It should take note that he's raced 5 times outside of Gulfstream Park West. He did not hit the board in any of those 5 occasions. All his success is right here.
Well, we're going to show you a video of the number 2 in here, Lion King. This one's going to be outfitted with blinkers today. You'll see had a 5-length lead last time out. I used this horse on my ticket as well. This horse is home free, and he ends up getting beat 3/4 of length, as you'll see. That was against $6,250 3 lifetime claimers. Going to 1-turn mile. Just thought he was home free in that race. He just gets nipped at the wire. Thus, I put him back on my ticket. Maybe he can stretch that today and get the job done. Of course, that across town at our Gulfstream Park East or Gulfstream
You
Park.
thought he was home free. I actually got a little slap on the wrist for my race call there. I thought he was home free too. He blew a big lead against non-winners of 3 types. He's never set foot on this main track. He's definitely a horse that's going to be on or near the lead. The 2-turn angle, I think, works against him here. All of his success has been racing 1 turn, at least lately. He goes out for Jerry Percino. It's an interesting race placement. He's in against non-winners of the year versus non-3 life. I cannot honestly tell you which is a tougher race. It's an interesting placement by the barn. I understand the logic. They're trying to see if this race isn't a little bit easier. Sometimes the time-restricted claimers are easier than the lifetime condition claimers just because they're time-restricted for a reason. Horses have not been winning. Or the lifetime conditions, you could run into horses that have won 2 or 3 in a row.
Always like when you look at those, as you said, those type of claimers, and you find the horse that won on, April 15th and now is eligible for this race. Always a key angle. Let's go to the 6th race, 7.5 furlongs on the turf. Maiden claimers 3 and up. $35,000. Number 1 horse in here gets the ultimate equipment change. Gelding this time out. That's the number 1. We have a video here, and this is race 2 from back on October 3rd, and it's the stretch run of Free Range Man surrendering the lead to finish 2nd in this race. Just getting beat 1 1/4 lengths, and you'll see Free Range Man coming up. He was the 2 horse in the race. There he is on the lead. Another one that just gets nailed at the wire. You'll see it right here. By a little over a length in there, I thought a pretty good performance.
Yeah, it was. It wasn't a bad race either in terms of the way it played out. The winner of that race was from the barn of Lynn Scase. He did have some maiden special weight form to speak of, so it was quite all right for Free Range Man to be 2nd that day. Solo Allegiance is back in here. I give Solo Allegiance a look in here, so do you. I went with the 2 Stylo on top. I think he's a horse that definitely brings a little bit of intrigue to the table. 2nd start off a long layoff. I liked him last time out. Actually, 3rd start off a long layoff. 2nd start off a bit of a form cycle. He finished way back going 2 turns 2 starts ago. He was in against the much better horses Sorakaima and Skip's World that afternoon. I'm not real sure about his ability to get 2 turns. I'm going to be quite honest with you. But as everybody knows about me, if I know that I'm going to get a tactical advantage at a bit of a price, I'll take it. And I think I'm going to get both with Stylo. He'll be on the lead and he won't be favored. That's good enough for me. I'll give him a shot on top here. Jesus Rios rides. That was the icing on the proverbial cake for me.
Yeah, I got Stylo on my ticket there for our Solo Allegiance. If you looked at the last race, the horse that was closing from 10 lengths back to finish 3rd was that horse Solo Allegiance behind Free Range Man. Let's go to our 7th race of the afternoon, and this one is a 6 furlong sprint. Claimers 3 and up, non-winners of 2, $10,000 the claiming price. I'm happy with the number 3, Happy Harvey. You went with the number 6 horse in here, Flat in Charge.
I'm not going to talk you off Happy Harvey, not a little bit. The horse has success over this racetrack. He was a huge 2nd last time out to Facundo. Facundo came back to win here at Gulfstream Park West on opening week. 2nd start of the form cycle for Steve Dwoskin goes to Tyler Gaffleone. Nothing wrong at all with Happy Harvey. The only thing that might be wrong is the price, and I'm going to go with a horse that's going to be a decent number. You'll have to reach a little bit, but if you have some faith, I definitely have some faith in number 6, Flat in Charge. 2nd start of the form cycle for him as well. He was behind Happy Harvey last time. He's a horse that does have a little bit better form here at Gulfstream Park West. He was 2nd last time. He was all over this surface. He was 3rd the time before that to odds-on winner P.O.'s Passion. P.O.'s Passion's come back to be okay against lifetime claimers on the grass. Flat in Charge under jockey Aldo Arboleda, who's yet to have a victory since returning to South Florida. It's a little bit of a stretch, but it's the kind of race where you might need to stretch a little bit.
The one Kulchi moved to the next level after defeating $12,500 maidens going 3/4 mile. That was a good track. It was a good performance. Jenna Antonucci, Edgar Zayas.
Well, if he wins, I lose. That's all I'm going to say about that. The Colchi to beat a horse named Handpicked last time out. Handpicked was heavily favored and should have won that race. He came back to blow a race on the turf course as well. The Colchi does fit well against this stock, but I'm going to try to beat him.
Well, the 8th race this afternoon, 6 furlongs, an allowance optional claimer. Fillies, 3-year-olds, claiming level $75,000. Scratch the 1 Sunset Silhouette. Pretty nice race here. I went with the 3 Gumata. You went with the 3 Gumata in here.
That's what I'm shaking my head at. This race is really, really tough. How is it we land on the same horse on top? I don't really have a strong opinion here, to be honest with you. I thought Gumara was a horse that might offer a little bit of value. The horse was a 2-1 against stakes types last time out, off the strength of very impressive victories in her first 2 races. She goes out for Efren Loza Jr., who's one heck of a horseman. And, I wasn't really confident here, but this race, I was trying to pick against the Pletcher trainee, Money Game, who you use second. I don't like horses' first start from New Jersey. It's been a patented angle of mine. The New Jersey surface is a very, very fast, skip-over-it type racetrack. Gulfstream Park West is not that way. If you're not ready for it, it can definitely hit you between the eyes, and I'm going to figure that Money Game will take action, and maybe I can get her beat, I should say, and that was my logic for Gumara on top.
Well, Money Game is turning back to 6 furlongs, encountered early trouble, steady, then set the pace, weakened to finish third. It was a mile in the 16th against $30,000 option claim. As you mentioned, the connections, daughter of elusive quality. Here's the key to why I didn't put it on top. Running for the $75,000 tag in this race. So
you really think there'll be any takers? I think that's just smart racing management on the part of Todd Pletcher to realize that, hey, listen, nobody's going to take my filly for $75,000 anyway. This is a pretty good spot outside of that risk. I'll take a shot with that. As the race placement's not the concern. For me, the concern is that she just has not shown that she's had any real success closing into a 6 furlong journey against the South Florida types. She's run very, very well against better, such as New York and Monmouth, but she'll be heavily backed, and I'll take a stand against.
Once again, they're giving us that fasted up sign.
Yeah. We'll
race
get
9, 6 furlongs, allowance action claimer, state breds, 3-year-olds and up, $12,500. Scratch the 9, Pomeroy's package, and we both have the 4 Centaur Man on top of my ticket. This one I have on top because loves this track. 5 previous races here, 2 wins, 2 seconds. The old horse for course play.
Well, the reason I have him on top is because they scratched Pomeroy's package. It was my top play. I just find it absolutely amazing. The 2 toughest races on the card, the races that if you're playing multi-leg exotic tickets, pick 6, pick 5, pick 4, definitely spread in these races. Please spread. 8 races, 8 and 9, wide open. But we land on the same horse. Unbelievable.
Yeah. I also used the 10 Shining Powers of Tri-State Bred competition. Returned from a 9-week freshing to finish second. That was against $35,000. 2 lifetime claimers going 3/4. Here last 30. Gustavo Delgado is 22% with similar short turnaround.
I think the 5-horse merits consideration, and I won't talk about him too much because I don't want us to go overtime, but he was second against Pontos 3 starts back. He was keeping good company. He's in against Master Blender and Tiz for Tat last time out. Gets back over here to Gulfstream Park West, a surface he's never raced on, but if there's anybody who can pull an upset, it's Donna Green, Dan Hertak, and Leandro Gonsalves. Good boy Charlie, a definite use in your multi-legs.
Last race, want to show you a video real quick. Back on 926, it's Lemon Up, Lumina Boldly.
Yeah, I thought this horse was a home and cooled out winner last time out. That's not the right replay. Lemon Up last time out makes a huge bid from off the speed. Was very, very well placed by jockey Ramsey Zimmerman in that particular race. Lemon Up loomed boldly. I'll paint the picture for you. The horse is third behind the speed. Zimmerman tips him to the outside. He takes hold of the bit. He moves right up alongside. Looks like he's going to blow past. Actually does take the lead and then throws out the anchor. It was not exactly a really encouraging debut run for Lemon Up. It did show that he can sit a good trip. He takes the move here to Kirk Zadie for Avil Racing. Here comes the race with Lemon Up. There he goes. He splits horses. He's on the lead already. That's the live oak colors. He's the 9-horse that day. And look, he just doesn't go on with it. He takes the lead, and then he's tackled outside by Crown Distinction, who was an 0 for 15 maiden that day. He was well regarded, and Crown Distinction got the victory. Lemon Up just flattens out badly. Kirk Zadie will fix that. I have no problems with that. You see the 6-horse down inside? That's Dreaming of Pete. That's our other pick in this race, me and Ronnie, for second in that race. Dreaming of Pete was the pace setter. Lemon Up passed him. Crown Distinction passed them both. I actually think in this particular case, we're on the same 3 for a reason. They're the best 3, and in my opinion, they're the only 3. 1, 9, and 7. Relativity factor, your fresh face for trainer Marcus Vitale.
Well, that is how we see the action on the opening day of week number 2 here at Gulfstream Park West, the 10-race card. Don't forget a $50,000 jackpot guarantee in the Rainbow Six. Any parting words?
Yeah, I think it could go here today. Don't be afraid to take a shot with some nice numbers. There's some competitive races. Just don't go too deep in race number 10. It's only a 3-horse race.